Journalist and special correspondent for the LA Times and Washington Post, Ryan Kilpatrick, is live with us. And Ryan, second coronavirus-related death in Hong Kong. What can you tell us about the victim? Had he traveled to mainland China recently? And it must be a huge cause of concern for all the residents of Hong Kong.
Yes, it's certainly a cause of concern. Hong Kong has just become the first place in the world outside of mainland China to see 2 deaths now from coronavirus. As for the victim, we don't know all the details yet. We expect more of these to come out in a press conference this afternoon with the hospital authority. But what we do know so far is that he's 70 years old, likely diabetic. He had some underlying conditions, kidney problems. And we believe he traveled to mainland China early on in January. But it seems only just across the border to Shenzhen. So like previous victims, he's an older person. He had pre-existing underlying health conditions. This is in keeping with the pattern we're seeing so far. But today also saw the 62nd case confirmed in Hong Kong coronavirus. So people are certainly getting more concerned as it looks like we have a community outbreak on our hands.
Absolutely, Ryan. Now, are the Hong Kong health workers still continuing with their protest? Now, one of their demands was a complete shutdown of the border with mainland China. What is the Hong Kong government's stand on that?
Yeah, so earlier this month, there was the strike of healthcare workers in which over 7,000 employees of the hospital authority took part. And they had 5 demands. The first of these was, as you said, closing the borders completely. They failed to achieve their 5 demands. The government wouldn't budge on this, but they did gradually close some more of the entry points into Hong Kong. But people's reaction to this is, well, they welcome more border closures, but they say if this had happened sooner, we wouldn't be dealing with quite so many cases in Hong Kong and a second death now. If this had been brought under control, this flow of people into Hong Kong sooner.
Absolutely, it has to be brought under control, especially in Hong Kong, especially after second death has been reported in the city. Now, is there any shortage of essential supplies in Hong Kong, Ryan? Because we've read reports that a couple of supply trucks were robbed by armed robbers.
Yes, earlier this week, there's a shipment of toilet paper to a Hong Kong supermarket. It was robbed at knife point. And toilet paper is one of the many household goods. You're seeing people panic buying and stockpiling, hoarding in their homes right now. And some of this is due to online rumors. For example, the rumor that toilet paper could be used to make face masks, that shipments from mainland China would be cut off. And so it's propelled by this kind of misinformation. But it also speaks to a long-standing underlying distrust in the government, especially as this pertains to the closure of borders and its failure to react to the demands of healthcare workers. People feel like they can't look to the government for help and support at this critical time. And so they're kind of resorting to their own means, their own sources of information, and taking desperate actions like stockpiling or sealing toilet paper and other basic household items, bleach, face masks, disinfectants, soap, what have you.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank Ryan Kilpatrick for joining us live from Hong Kong and getting us the latest ground report from there.